Okay, so I'm Grasswalker. Hello and welcome to Niall.Fun's absurd trolley problems. If you don't already know about the trolley problem, it is this that's on the screen. A trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can choose to pull the lever to divert it to the other track, killing one person instead. What do you do? And everyone disagrees on what the answer to this is. In my opinion, if you have the ability to take an action that will reduce the amount of deaths of something, it is your moral obligation to do that. And even though you are pushing the lever and now you are technically responsible for this one person dying, if you did nothing, my argument is that you are responsible for killing these 5 people. You should go for the least amount of suffering or damage caused. I think you should pull the lever. Now the thing about this game is it gives you an answer for what everyone's done. So 80% of people agree with me, 20% disagree. But then it gets worse. Absurd trolley problems, level 2, 4 people. A trolley is headed towards 5 people. You can pull the lever, and instead it will kill 4 people. Now how strong do you feel? And I still have the same opinion, but it is less now because it's 5 to 1 is a big disparity. It's 5 times as much. Now it's 4 to 5. That's like 1.2 as much. 1.2 to 5, big difference. And this one would feel harsh because if you have to explain yourself to the families going, oh, I didn't know the lever did it or something, then whatever happens. But going, oh, I knew that pulling the lever would kill 4 people, I saved 5 people, surely that one person's worth it. That makes it harder, but I still think you are obligated to do the same thing. And of course, a lot of people hesitated as well, so we've lost 12%, we're down to 68% of people agreeing. 12% of people had that hesitation and lent into that hesitation. Now we've got level 3, life savings. A trolley is heading towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, destroying your life savings. What do you do? Now this is an interesting one because people that are trying to appear ethical will go, oh yeah, I'd sacrifice my life saving, I'd do anything. But they wouldn't. If they were in this situation, they wouldn't. They are lying to you. Some people would, but the vast majority of people that will try to make themselves appear like these selfless people and say, oh, I'd absolutely... It's easy to do that when you're behind a screen on a video game going, oh yeah, I'd do that, I'm a good person. They wouldn't. They just wouldn't. Now the thing about this is what it's equating, instead of equating 2 things that you're not involved in, 4 random people, 5 random people, you don't know these people. So you can easily pull the levers. Now it's involving you. It's your life savings. It's affecting you. I don't think I could destroy my life savings for 5 random people. There are 8 billion people on this planet. That's a lot of people. I don't know who these people are. People die every single second of every day. My life savings are important to me in my life. I don't think... If I was there, I might feel different. I might pull the lever, I might not. It depends how much my savings are at the time as well. I don't actually have that many savings. But if you think about the stuff that you do on a daily basis, for example, you're watching this on the internet on YouTube. That means that you have internet access. You might be watching this on an iPhone, in which case slave labour has built your iPhone and those slaves are tortured on a daily basis. And you're okay with that. You're not pulling the lever. If you go to work at a company like Shell, which is annihilating the planet and might lead to the death of us all, you're not pulling the lever. There are a lot of things that, even the clothes that you wear, I'm wearing a Magnus's Runga t-shirt, I don't know where that comes from, but if you're wearing something like Primark, again, slave labour, where if your production levels aren't high enough, you are just straight up killed. Chinese workshops where people have the suicide nets to stop them killing themselves because they're indentured servitude. There's a lot of fucked up shit going on. And people aren't willing to pull the lever on £5, £10 or dollars to have ethical sourced products. So you can't look at me and watch this video and say, oh, he's a bad person. I wouldn't destroy my life savings for 5 random people I don't know. And I don't think you would either. 29% of people agree with me, and 71% of people, I would guess that 50% of this 71, as in 50 of the 71, so 21% are telling the truth, 50% are lying. I think they're lying. I think it's easy to click a button and go, oh, I'm a selfless, great person, look at me. I don't think they're telling the truth. Now we've got an even more heightened version of this. A trolley is headed towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, sacrificing yourself instead. What do? And this is where an element of hypocrisy comes in, because I'm more than happy to pull that lever to kill one person if it's somebody else. I would not pull that lever to kill myself to save 5 random people. And I know that. There is no way I would pull that lever. I like being alive. Not that much, but I like being alive. Everything I said before, 8 billion people, endless amounts of suffering and torture, and people aren't pulling the lever in their own life. You could sit back and be like, oh, if you're looking at the greater good, you don't know if these 5 people are good or bad. I think that I'm good, so I'll save myself and I will do more good than these 5 people. You could take that approach. I don't think I would believe it. I'm not going to kill myself for 5 random people, because that's just not what I would do. 60% of people agree, 39% disagree. Priceless painting. A trolley is headed towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track. The original copy of the Mona Lisa will be destroyed. What do? So, now we're weighing human life against artifact/history. Personally, I have no respect for the Mona Lisa. Like, cool painting, dude, and what? There are a million paintings in the world. I don't particularly think that any of them deserve a reverent status above human life. And I especially don't think the Mona Lisa deserves it. It's an alright painting. I've gone to see it, I went to the Louvre. The thing behind it, if you're looking at the Mona Lisa, look behind you. The thing behind you is way better than the Mona Lisa. It's like 15 times the size, with 100 times the detail. It's not a bad painting, don't get me wrong. I think it's overhyped. Even with that, though, if you put my favourite painting in the world and it destroyed all copies, that's another thing. You can have copies of the Mona Lisa, just put another one up in its place. These 5 people, they're going to be dead and gone. However, there is an argument on the other side, which is 8 billion people on the planet. No one really gives a shit about any of them. There's only one Mona Lisa. Once it's gone forever. You can make more people. Anyone can spunk at another person. 9 months later, poop, 1 or more babies come out. There's nothing particularly special or reverent about human life in the end, actually, anyway. But I don't think I could value the Mona Lisa. I definitely couldn't value the Mona Lisa over 5 random lives. And 86% of people agree, 14% disagree. Wonder who disagreed. Bribery. A trolley is headed towards a rich man. The rich man offers you $500,000 to pull the lever, which would divert the trolley and kill someone else. What would you do? Now again, we now have an element of action, because you are making a choice to change the course of the trolley. And if you just did nothing, the rich man would die. However, he is offering you the ability to probably pay off your mortgage, your student loans, buy yourself a nice car, maybe retire 10 years earlier, something like that. $500,000 in England money. I would guess that's about £430,000, which would buy a decent house, a car, and pay off my student loans. That would pretty much transform my life. Somebody's dying here, and part of me, the part of me that hates rich people, would really like to just kill this guy for the gall of trying to buy off somebody else's life. However, realistically, and I think that this would apply to most people, I think a lot of people are going to pull the lever here. I also think a lot of people are going to lie about pulling the lever here. They're going to go, oh no, I would never kill someone for 500. If there was a button to kill a random person for 500,000, I would click that. Like, I would be like this. I would never stop clicking it. And I think that's human nature. As like weird primate animals, we don't really care about other people that much. We care about our inner circle, our family, our friends, the people we know, the people we see. Some random person, just like a statistic or a button press, I don't think you would care about them. If this was a rich man offers me £500,000 to kill my cat, I would never pull it. But a random person that I don't know, I'm going to get bribed, and that's just how it is. Maybe I'd haggle with him, look for more. 30% of people agree, 63% disagree. Again, I think a majority of this disagree section, I think they're lying. I think they're not being honest with themselves. Or if you're filling this out in a group setting, they want to look like a good person to the rest of the group. Or they're just lying to themselves. I don't think if you're there and someone says, oh, I'll give you 500,000, here it is in the briefcase, I'm holding it, save me, kill that guy. One person's dying either way. You can transform your life, or you cannot. I don't see people not taking that offer. I can see some people not taking that offer, but I don't think the majority of people. Maybe my faith in human life is just not very much. Levels of sentience, now we're going back to a bit of the Mona Lisa versus people, but we're bringing it closer. We're not Mona Lisa and people, where Mona Lisa has no sentience, people have a lot. Now we are cats and lobsters, and the thing about this is people kill and eat lobsters every day for rolls, sandwiches, dinners, whatever they want. People they're not usually comfortable killing cats, and I wouldn't be comfortable killing cats. Cats are usually quite charismatic and loved and sentient and have thoughts and feelings. Lobsters, as far as I'm aware, I may be mistaken, feel free to correct me in the comments. As far as I'm aware, lobsters do not have the capacity for thought. They definitely feel pain and they'll try and avoid pain, but I don't think a trolley is it's definitely not more torturous than boiling them alive, which is what's currently done to them. I mean, let the lobsters die is my opinion on that, and the vast majority of people agree there. I wonder who is valuing, maybe just trolls or something, but I wonder who's valuing cats above lobsters, or if they're seeing they're not thinking about the degree, they're just thinking 5 animals, 1 animal, save the 5. I don't know, I'd like to get in their heads. Alright, a trolley is heading towards 5 people who are sleeping among... Okay, so I actually touched on this just before, talking about the difference between lobsters being boiled alive and ran over with a tram. The level of suffering and pain endured. 5 people who are sleeping and will not feel the pain, they will just die, compared to somebody who is wide awake and would feel every part of it. I'm assuming these people are tranquilized, that's why they won't feel it. In terms of the amount of suffering caused, one thing you have to factor in is the family of these people strapped in on the rails. Whilst you would have less physical suffering of the people if you let the 5 people die, there is a large chain of families and friends and networks that would be feeling pain. Got 5 lives versus 1 life again, and similar to what I felt for 5 versus 1, you have a moral obligation to take actions that will reduce suffering, reduce death, and reduce bad things happening in the world. 5 people being asleep, they'll wake up eventually. This one guy, I'm sorry that he's going to have to suffer, but it's for the greater good. So I would pull the lever on this one, I think. 68% of people agree, 32% disagree. I'm surprised it's that far divided. That felt tough for me. I would have guessed that would have been more 55-45. Personal choice. Oh no! A trolley is headed towards 5 people who tied themselves to the track. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, killing 1 person who accidentally tripped onto the track. So this man has accidentally tripped and tied himself to the track, compared to 5 people who have chosen to be there. If you have voluntarily chosen to tie yourself to the track, I believe that that is your choice. You have the ability to make that choice. All humans should have a degree of personal autonomy that should allow them to choose when they live, when they die, when they reproduce, everything like that. They're smiling. To go against this would be to fuck this guy over and to fuck these guys over. You have to do nothing. It was their choice to do it. Let them have their choice. Let them do it. And 89% of people agree. I'm surprised it's that high, actually, considering how little people value their personal choice in other divisive issues, such as abortion. Absurd trolley problems, mercy. Oh no, a trolley's headed towards 5 people. The lever just speeds up the trolley, which might make it less painful. So we can't save anyone. We just have to decide, are we going to try and reduce their suffering? Now the thing is, it might make it less painful. Might. It's not guaranteed. So first of all, we can't pretend it's a guarantee to reduce pain. We are gambling the chance of reducing pain against what? So let's think. These 5 people, if a trolley is coming towards you, They might be in the process of their final thoughts and prayers, leaving a voicemail to a loved one, just having the flashbacks of the last moments of their life. Somebody might be in the process of saving these people. There might be somebody out there who can remotely stop trolleys as long as they're not going too fast. I do not think you should speed this trolley up for might make it less painful. Because you might make it less painful, but you might cause the guy who can stop this trolley to not be able to stop this trolley anymore. You might interrupt their final thoughts and prayers and voicemail to their family and loved ones, and instead of them getting a message which is, "Oh my god, I'm tied to the track, I love you, tell my son I love him, I love you so much, bye," you get, "Oh my god, I've..." and then they have to hear that as the... I think you have to do nothing. If it said, it will make it less painful, then I would be torn, I would be 50-50. But gambling people's time and their amount of time, because you're reducing the amount of time they're alive. They might have stuff to do in that time. One of them might be shimmying the ropes off and about to get up, and you speed it up and you kill him, and then you've killed him because he would have got out. You can't do anything. Not this time. 32% of people agree. I feel like I might have overthought it, or they have underthought it. I'm not sure. Let me know, because that's the most divisive one that I've gone against, I think. But we'll see. Absurd trolley problems, a minor inconvenience. A trolley is headed towards one guy. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, but then your Amazon package will be late. This is a build-up from the rich man, because the rich man would make your life more convenient if you did something for him. Now it's the opposite. Your life will be slightly more inconvenient, but you can help somebody. I mean, I don't use Amazon, but having a package be late, even if it's really late, like 2 weeks, somebody being alive is a lot more important than that. So you got to pull the lever. 12% disagree. I'm not sure if they're trolls or sociopaths or really, really caring about... Say you've got some kind of condition and you have to have daily medication, and not having your medication could kill you, and for some reason Amazon is the one delivering it, which they wouldn't be. Then I could see the lever argument of, well, I need my Amazon package or I'll die, so it's me versus him. But that's not what it is, so I don't know where these people have come from. I think they're just clicking around the buttons. Maybe they're trying to get the highest kill count once the thing is finished. Maybe they're just trolling their friends. Maybe they're just trolling their site. Maybe they can't read. Maybe they've got like a group of friends. They're doing shock value humour. They're like, "Oh yeah, I'd kill him." And they're all like, "Oh my god, you'd kill him." And then they all laugh. Best friend. A trolley is headed towards your best friend. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track. Killing 5 strangers instead. Funny story. I believe I mentioned this earlier. If you put your family friend, your cat, your best friend, somebody you care about on here, you as a human, like a primate creature, are going to value them more than things. Goes back to the hypocrisy. I'm more than willing to kill one random person to save 5 random people, but I'm not willing to kill one person I care about to save 5 random people. I'm pulling the lever. I'm saving my best friend, and I hope that my best friend will do the same. 60% of people agree, 40% disagree. That means 40% of people have terrible best friends. Keep that in mind when you're choosing your best friend next time. Absurd trolley problem. Can't see. Oh no, a trolley is headed towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, killing 1 person. At least that's what you think is happening. You forgot your glasses and you can't see. So if you cannot make an informed choice, should you try to make the correct uninformed choice? Whoa. That's the toughest one yet. That's really tough. I can't even explain my thought process for how tough this one is, because you don't actually know what's happening. So I can't be like, oh, here's this side, therefore I picked it, because you don't really know. You don't have a fucking clue what's going on. I think if that's what you think is happening, you are still morally obligated to try and reduce the amount of suffering and save lives and all that. I think you should. But that's really dangerous. Obviously, you should always be as informed as you can be, but there's nothing you can do to... Like, it's not a lack of education or a form of misinformation here, it's just you physically can't see. But if you think that's what's happening, you should do what you can to save lives. You pull the lever. 50-50. Yeah, that's definitely the toughest one, and everyone else has felt that too. Wow, that's actually 50-50. Cousins. See, I don't actually know what cousins are. America really loves and knows all about cousins. I don't really know what a cousin is. It's like my dad's sister has a kid. No, because that's nephews and nieces. I don't really know what a cousin is. But I know it's a family member. A trolley is headed towards one of your first cousins. You can pull it to kill 3 of your second cousins. I'm going to do nothing. I don't really give a shit about my first or second cousins. I couldn't tell you who they are. 3 lives versus 1 life. I'm not particularly attached to any of my cousins. I'll take 3 lives over 1 life. 75% of people agree. I don't know what that is. Ooh! Life. Oh, here we go. A trolley is headed towards 5 elderly people. You can pull the lever to kill a baby instead. What do you do? Now, first question, how elderly? Because if they're in their 80s, they might have 5-10 years left. Who knows? Between 3 minutes and 10 years, something around that. If they're 65, like retirement age, elderly, can have bus passes, they each still have a good 10, 20, maybe even 30 years ahead of them, and there's 5 of them. 5 30s is 120 years of life that you are removing from the world, compared to a baby that might live to 80 or might live to 10. It might be a deformed baby, it might die immediately. The other argument that people will often make is, oh, the elderly people are done, they've lived their life, That's such a weird attitude, in my opinion. To look at an old person and go, oh, you've lived enough, I'm happy to kill you, that's super fucked, in my opinion. Because they're not done living. You can still live a full, able, and happy life as an elderly person. Your likelihood of that happening will reduce with age, but it is fully possible to live a complete, happy, wholesome life as an old person. You've got 5 lives against 1 life, but it's 5 elderly lives versus a new life. This is an argument that might get me some heat. I don't know if anyone's actually 23 minutes into the video or not. I don't think a baby is particularly important. Like, a lot of people can make babies. Babies are made all the time. Just make a new baby. Just adopt a baby instead to whoever parents it is of whatever baby I'm about to run over with a tram. Just go adopt another baby. It's... Like, I don't have kids, so I don't know. I haven't had that, like, weird primate click of, oh, I love kids, this is my kid, or whatever, the miracle of childbirth. I've never had that awaken in me. I see babies as little grotesque potato creatures that vomit, shit, spit, and snot everywhere, and just scream non-stop, and if someone moves in next door with a baby, guess what? You're not going to sleep anymore because they've had a baby. I'm not particularly fond of babies. That doesn't mean... If the track was empty, it's not like I would swerve the trolley just to kill the baby or anything. But I have a feeling that these 5 accomplished, happy, elderly people that are in relatively fine health, maybe 3 of them are in good health, 1's in air health, and 1 of them's not doing well, they have a lot of life left to live. Let's say 3 of them have 20, 30 years left. Let's say 1 of them has 10 years left. Let's say 1 of them's on the way out, he's got a week left. That's a good 100 years of life. The baby might live to 100, it might not. I'm going to root for the elderly people. I'm going to pull the lever. Sorry, baby. But, wow, people really don't agree with that. I wonder if I... Because whenever statistics like this come up, I want to find a couple of the people that disagree with me and just talk to them. just get to know where their head's at, what their decision-making process was, to see how it differs to mine, to see if they considered the same points I did and went, that's not important to me, or to see if they never even thought of some of the stuff I said, or maybe they had a really strong argument to keep the baby alive that I didn't think of. Absurd trolley problem, clones. A trolley is barreling towards 5 clones of you. You can pull the lever to sacrifice yourself instead. Human, primate, monkey brain, click. I'm not going to sacrifice myself for any. It could be, no joke, it could be me on this track and 1 million random people, and I would still preserve myself. And that is a choice that everyone watching this video makes on a daily basis as well. If you're eating factory farmed foods, you're embracing a lot of suffering. If you are wearing clothes from indentured servitude and slave labor, you are encouraging and funding a lot of suffering for your own benefit. So don't watch this video and be like, oh, Grasswalker's a right fucking wanker, because he wouldn't sacrifice himself for 5 clones even though they're clones of him, because I don't think you would either. If you would, you can go off on me. Fair play. But I don't think you would. 85% of people agree on that one. I'm surprised by that, actually, because I feel like the other you sacrifice was less. Oh, wow, okay, we've got mystery boxes. We've got some statistics now. A trolley is headed towards a mystery box with a 50% chance of containing 2 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, hitting a mystery box with a 10% chance of 10 people. So first thing you've got to do is you have to do the maths. A 50% chance of 2 people is statistically 1 person, because 50% of the time it's nothing, 50% of the time it's 2. You take the averages, divide it by the possibilities. There is effectively 1 person in that box. Okay, this is interesting. I've done the math myself, but I'm walking you through. A 10% chance of 10 people, so you've got 10 and there's a 10% chance. This is also statistically 1 person, because 90% of the time, nobody's in there. But 10% of the time, 10 people are in there. So there are 10 possibilities, one of which has 10 people, leading to an average of 1 person in each box. Given that there is an even number of people in each box, what you're looking at now is the percentages. If you as a person do not want to kill somebody, you should pick this box, the 10% box, because there's a 90% chance that you don't kill anyone. If this one, you're flipping a coin and there's a 50% chance that you've killed somebody. So if you want the good ending, if you want to take a risk and get the good ending, you should pick the 10% box, because you are significantly less likely to be responsible for death. Gambling, though. Gambling that you could kill 10 people. That's a lot of suffering. On average, it's the same amount of suffering in the other box. But the worst case scenario is a lot worse. So you've got much likely to be good, but if it's bad, it's really bad. Or it's probably going to be a little bit bad, but not that bad. Then you have to factor in action, right? Because you are making a choice to push the lever. If you do nothing, you have a form of plausible deniability or ethical distance from the problem, because you can say, well, I didn't do anything, so the tram did it, and you wash your hands of it. I don't like that wishy-washy shit, but a lot of people will make that argument. I think that you should... I think that you should go for the 50-50 box. But I think I would go for the 10% box. In the sense of, if you don't take a risk, there's no chance of a reward. As well as, I wouldn't want to be responsible for the death of someone, and this gives me the most likely chance that it ends well for me. There's a 90% chance that I come out of this with a newspaper headline like, hero saves the day, 2 people walk free, blah blah blah. Whereas with the other box, there's a 50-50 that headline reads, guy kills 2 people, and that's not great for me. I want to pull that lever, and on average we've killed 1 person. People are 50-50 on that one, but not quite. 53%, 47%. I wonder where their head is at. Third trolley problem, I am robot. A trolley is headed towards 5 sentient robots. You can pull a lever to kill a human instead. How sentient? That's the question. How sentient? If these robots have the capacity for thought, feeling, emotion, they're living a full life, they have love, maybe they don't have love, who knows? But if they are fully sentient living beings, and there are 5 of them, do I weigh that above a person? There are 8 billion people. Are these the only 5 sentient robots? If this is, like, the only sentient robots to ever have been made, and if I destroy them, that's it, you'll never have sentient robots again, that changes it completely. Then it's easily save the robots. Or are sentient robots so commonplace that there's 5 of them wandering onto train tracks, and you could just make more? If they're assembled in a factory, how long does it take? Assuming this is an adult human, they've been like 18 years in the making, 19 years in the making if you count the womb. Do the robots get assembled in 5 minutes out of parts? If these are destroyed, can you get their little memory chips and put it in a different robot, and it will have the same level of sentience and memory? Assuming like all these weird different sci-fi things, I think you should save the human. But if some of the conditions I've talked about are true, save the robots. But none of it's guaranteed. It's just me like being hypothetical. A lot of people agreed, but that's because a lot of people have no respect for robots or sentient robots. I'm closer than what that showed. Economic damage. A trolley is headed towards 3 empty trolleys. You can pull the lever to hit an empty trolley worth less. Yeah, I mean, you should take an action to reduce the amount of suffering, and the amount of suffering caused by destroying 3 trolleys will delay people's journeys, make them late for work, make them miss their kids' school recital. The economy will have to compensate for it, the government will have to pay out for it, which will lead to reduced funding for police forces, parks, hospitals. Assuming trolleys are public transport governmentally funded, you are obligated to spare as many trolleys as you can. Most people agree as well. A trolley is releasing 100 kilograms of CO2 per year, which will kill 5 people over 30 years. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, hitting a brick wall, decommissioning the trolley. What do? Now we're talking environmentalism. And I alluded to this earlier as well. The planet is dying. We're at that 2 degrees centigrade threshold where we're verging on irreparable damage to the planet. Maybe you are morally obligated to destroy this track, or this trolley rather. Logistically speaking, destroying this trolley would mean a new trolley needs to be made, which means more metals need to be mined from the earth. They need to be transported by freight ships or aeroplane. They need to be assembled by human labour that is driving to work, burning fossil fuels in a car. Then you need to ship this trolley to the distribution centre or the track or the... What's a good word for it? Like a depot. A depot will do. And that will also release CO2 and toxic gases into the atmosphere. Destroying this trolley will cause a lot of environmental damage as well. Trolleys are not particularly environmentally destructive compared to cars. If you take this trolley out of action, and 100 people take cars instead, you have like made 100 times more environmental damage. So I think between the damage to the wall that needs to be repaired, the damage to the trolley that needs to be cleaned up, the damage to the fact the environment needs to compensate for a new trolley being made, and then the damage to the environment of all the people that would have took this trolley that can no longer take this trolley and now need to take a car, you must spare this trolley. If this was something else, if this was like a rich person's private aeroplane, absolutely blow it up. But I think you should spare the trolley. 50-50. I am so curious what people think about that as well. Oh no! You're a reincarnated being who will eventually be reincarnated as every person in this trolley problem. There are so many trolley problems! We're like 35 minutes in, there's 21 of these so far. If I have to experience the trolley problem many, many times, you still have to pull the lever. I guess this is in here to force people who were like, I'm not going to take action, or I would never interfere with fate or God's will, or I wouldn't want to be morally responsible for killing one person by touching the lever. All these people that are ethically trying to distance themselves from the decision, this forces them to go, actually, no, you're in here. If you don't change it, you're killing yourself 5 times. I think that's what this is for, but it doesn't apply to me because I never had that. If you're presented with an ethical problem, I will dive in head first, assess what I can, and make a strong decision, and I'll stand by it as best I can. A lot of people, if they're presented with an ethical problem, will go, oh no, how do I avoid this? And I hate that in people. That bothers me. Harmless prank. A trolley is headed towards nothing, but you kind of want to prank the trolley driver. No, you shouldn't fuck with people like that. My desire to prank the guy should not overrule his enjoyment to drive his trolley in peace. Also, changing trolley lines is really dangerous. There might be another trolley come in and then a head-on collision at some point. A lot of people want to fuck with that guy. I don't think they thought about the consequences. Citizens. Trolley's headed towards a good citizen. You can kill a bad citizen instead. Someone who litters. Now, funny story, actually. I would consider littering and returning a trolley in a supermarket car park to its recommended trolley destination. Littering and trolley return in a car park are a couple of the indicators of someone who is a complete fucking cunt. Because if you do not have the capacity to hold on to a piece of trash for a couple of minutes, or fold it up and put it in your pocket, and either take it home or wait until you find a bin to put it in, if you just chuck it on the floor, I actually don't think you deserve to be alive. Because you do not respect the world that you're in and the environment around you to witness it. You just don't deserve to be in it. And that's really extreme. Like, you wouldn't catch me walking around with a gun executing people littering. But hypothetically, like, absolutely. You could change this dilemma, how strongly I feel about it, to be one good citizen versus a million bad citizens. I'd still pull it. You could change this trolley problem to be 0. This could be empty versus a million bad citizens, and I would pull it. That's how strongly I feel about littering, which is a wild opinion I didn't know I had until I read this. Eternity. Due to a construction error, a trolley is stuck in an eternal loop. If you pull the lever, the trolley will explode. If you don't, its passengers will go in circles for eternity. So, I've got an assortment of questions for this as well. Number 1, are the passengers immortal or will they die of old age? Number 2, will the trolley or the track ever degrade to the point where it will crash itself? I'm assuming not, because it said it will go for eternity. Question 3. Did they sign up to this knowing it was eternity? Like, were the tickets sold as the eternal trolley, live forever, buy a ticket? In which case, leave them to it. Or was it the temporary trolley, get to where you need to go, get off and live your life until you die? In which case, they've been forced into immortality. Because immortality, I think, would be fucking awesome for the first, 500,000 years. And then I think it'd get old. And then you have to face the infinite, having gotten over it and being bored with it and being tired of it, and there's no end. If a creature is genuinely an immortal being, it is subject to what I would consider the most horrendous torture you could ever imagine over the course of the entire universe's lifespan. And I think morally you should put them to death, but we don't know if these people signed up for this. I'm 50-50. I'm completely torn. I think you just do nothing. You just leave it to it. For one reason, which is you can come back to the lever later. That lever's not going anywhere. So I would try and set up some kind of Morse code type thing, like cover certain windows on the trolley, or like stick your head out of the trolley and scream, blow us up if you want me to. Otherwise, just leave them to it, alright? Just don't get involved. It was 57-43. A trolley is heading towards your worst enemy. You can save them or do nothing and no one will ever know. I don't particularly care if people knew. That is something I've been factoring in to other decisions, such as the 50% chance of killing or the 10% chance of killing, but it's more people. And I was thinking about, well, what would the headline reflect on me when people like news record interviewing me? Do I want my legacy in the world to be a guy who killed 2 people? Or do I want it to be the guy who didn't kill anyone because they took the chance? Yeah, I mean, it's my worst... Who is my worst enemy? Because I don't consider myself a person that walks around and goes, I have a worst enemy. So I imagine my worst enemy is just whoever the worst person on the planet is right now. Someone who's either responsible for the most amount of suffering, the most amount of damage, the most amount of child sexual exploitation, for example. Whoever that is, fucking get them dead. I don't have a specific enemy in mind, but I think whoever my enemy is definitely deserves to get splattered by the trolley. Lifespan. So this is what I was considering mostly when it was the child and the old people, what lifespan they had left. So it's interesting to see this now as its own problem. A trolley is headed towards one person and will lower their lifespan by 50 years. Or you can pull the lever for the trolley and lower 5 people by 10 years. So no matter what you do, 50 years is being taken from various people. One big question for me is, where is that lifespan coming from? Because the twilight years of your life between, say, 80 and 90, or 70 and 80, they're not as good as the years that you live between 20 and 30 or 30 and 40. I would say that's just objectively true. You just can't do as much. Your body's frail. If you fall in the wrong way, you will die. There's a lot of problems with being old. You might even have mental health issues, dementia and such, to the point where you're hardly even arguably living a life at that age. If you take those last 10 years from people equally, and all of these people die at 64 and 76 and 81 instead of that plus 10, that might not be too bad compared to this guy who's 20, would have died at 71. You take 50 years, now he dies at 21. I think you should pull the lever here because the twilight years are less valuable than... Also, there's an argument that you're spreading the suffering. You're not just fucking one guy in particular. You are branching out and sharing the burden. And I think you should probably do that. They don't seem that happy about it. 66% of people agree. The trolley is headed towards 5 people. You can pull the lever to divert it to the other track, sending the trolley into the future to kill 5 people from 100 years from now. What do you do? So, various questions spring to mind. First of all, is the future better or worse from now? Because I'm a bit of a pessimist. If you ask me what the future would be like 100 years from now, I'm not sure people will still be on the planet. Like, there might be a couple of rich people left or something. But we are fucking ravaging this planet to the point where it is inhospitable to human life. You send this trolley to the future, there might not be 5 people left to kill it, or the 5 people left might be like wastelanders wandering the endless desert in search of drinking water. Or you might send it to the future and fucking Jeff Bezos in his immortal brain goop juice robot body is still there. And I would happily assassinate Jeff Bezos in 100 years from now. Or is the future really nice and everyone's having a great life and lifespans are like 400 years and everything's healthy and fixed and we learned all our lessons? Could you imagine? And sending the trolley there would be really harsh. Because they're about to live like awesome long lives compared to 5 people in 2022, sorry. Mid-pandemic. Mid-Ukraine war. Mid-cost of living crisis. Mid-environmental crisis. Maybe we're actually putting these people out of their misery. Another argument on the other side. If you send this to the future, there might be future technology that can stop the tram and save people. You might even find that in the future, putting somebody like under a tram and running them over isn't a death sentence in the future. They might have like super future medicine. We don't really know anything about that, so I'm gonna say let's just address the problem immediately. Let's not kick the can down the road and make it someone else's problem. Let's just let the trolley do its thing. A lot of people disagree. A lot of people want to kick the bucket down the thing. And I would say this attitude of there is a problem, you can like address that problem now, or you can avoid the problem. This is how we're in the environmental crisis that we're in right now, because 65% of people are like, oh no, just let it be someone in the future's problem, they'll sort it out. No, fix what you can fix now whilst you're there. Free will. A trolley problem is playing out before you. Do you actually have a choice? Or has everything been predetermined since the universe began? Far beyond my pay grade. Free will and choice. It's way beyond my pay grade. I don't know enough about the universe to answer that. We barely know about Earth, which is one tiny little dust speck of a garbage planet in a solar system, in a shitty little tiny backwater cosmos Milky Way, in the backwater ass end of nowhere, with nothing around us. We are a million noughts% of the universe, and it's expanding. We don't know a fucking thing about the universe, so we can't answer this with confidence. But I would say that we have a choice. 60% of people think we have a choice. I feel very sorry for this 40% of people. Because if you live with this mentality, that you have no choice, you have no free will, and you're out and you go shopping and you see something, you're like, oh, should I treat myself? Like, do you wait to see if the universe does it for you? Like, no, you choose to do that. Or maybe you go like, oh, I'm going to treat myself because that's the universal thing. I don't know. I just don't like the idea of predetermination and everything being laid out. Like, if I got up right now and danced like a frog would dance, like, does the universe script that? I don't feel like it would. I don't think the universe gives a shit about any of us. We just happen to be in it. Okay. We've solved philosophy. Our kill count was 64. So we were responsible for 64 deaths. I don't know whether that's a high score or a low score. I think it's going to be quite low, because at every opportunity, we did our best to reduce the amount of harm and suffering and death that we had in front of us. However, there were times where we took biases, such as killing 5 people instead of our best friend, or killing a bad person instead of killing nobody. This kill count is probably 10 to 15 deaths higher than it would be if you were trying to do a 0 kills. But that raises the ethical question of, is it always correct to spare someone's life? And this pisses me off in a lot of superhero films. Because you get someone like Batman or Spider-Man, and you put him in a world where there are rapists and murderers. And Spider-Man, he gives him a couple of punches, and then he says, you better not do it again, kiddo, and he walks off. And that person then goes on to kill and rape again. That is Spider-Man's fault, because he didn't stop them when he could have. He fully could have killed them, but he chose to just let them carry on killing and raping and murdering. So Spider-Man is making a choice. He's going, my feelings, how I feel, is more important than somebody being raped or murdered. Because he wants to preserve the fact that, oh, I've never killed anyone, I'm such a good person. But he's not. He's one of the worst people. Because he's a terrible person masquerading as a good person under the premise that not killing is always good. You find something like an individual who wants to be euthanized for very good reasons with an incurable illness that's only going to deteriorate and cause more suffering. You are morally obligated to let that person make their choices. If they want to die, let them die. If you find, or if you are an owner of a pet that is in a large amount of suffering because they have some kind of cancerous tumours that are applying pressures and pains to them and in their body, you are morally obligated to give that creature a dignified death with as little suffering as possible. You're obligated to take it to the vet and put it down because that's the right thing to do. there are certain things and certain people and certain groups in the world that just have to be gotten rid of. Child sex traders, any form of acting paedophile, rapists, another good example. If you're really extreme like me, people that litter and have no remorse. You got all these kind of horrible things, and just like thinking that if you leave them alive, the problem's going to fix itself. Absolutely not. There's definitely certain things in this world, in a hypothetical, ethical, moral, philosophical argument status, that I think absolutely have to be gotten rid of. But anyway, there is an hour with me arguing, rambling and ranting about Neil.Fun's absurd trolley problems. I'm going to put the link to this game in the description. Please play it. Play it seriously as well. Think about it. Genuinely put some heart and soul into it. Let me know what your score is. Let me know if there's any questions that you strongly disagreed on. When you were watching the video, I was talking something, you're like, holy shit, this dude's fucking way away from me. If you got that, that's awesome. That's great, because I love that. Tell me why. Let me know what you disagreed on and why. Or let me know if you agreed on a question, but the reason you agreed was so far away from the reason I agreed that it's almost a different opinion, even though we had the same ending. That's awesome. Just anything. If you've got any thoughts at all, let me know. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.